Welcome everybody, it's Rev. I'm following up on my tier list with a few updates on hybrid and my current build. And before you jump all over me, I am testing things. I don't think there is ever going to be a final build. I like messing with the flex spots, but I still do think from some of my original videos, some of the flex spots um, remain intact. I'm not sure I've really changed my mind all that much on what the flex spots are. And a few things might jump out as strange. But because I got so many requests on like what my current build is, I wanted to make the video kind of as soon as possible to satisfy those requests. Now, a few things probably jump out to you. I really think the thing that probably jumps out to most viewers is the traditional monster lineup was these 20 cards. I am using the second grapher with only 2 values and a necro at this point. I actually think this is fine, and I've done a lot of like test hands with this, and it's definitely acceptable to like run third value. But because this is an aggro deck, the hands that you open Grepher plus like no value are significantly better than the hands you open like value no Grepher. So I feel like if you just kind of match it 2 and 2 and then like have the Necro Guard in there, the ratios work out kind of just fine. It really sets you over the edge for the burial. I think if you're running a list like this with just like one Grepher, one Arma, one Necro, the burial definitely could be a flex spot. I just do think it's powerful enough that you probably just want to build around it a little bit, and it will win you a lot of games, whether or not it's grave manipulation or extra banishes for dad, or of course the value synchros recurring themselves. So this is where I've landed. I do think traps are kind of on their way out, like at least with how really hostile the current meta is towards traps. So I cut down one Dimpriz and like it so far. This just plays from hand a lot more. And another card I've shat on a lot is Bora. I unfortunately think it is necessary. It's just one of those kind of like mid, like Gilman-ish type cards you need to run to enable different parts of your engine. And it really does make your opening hands significantly better in a lot of cases. And another thing we're going to do is kind of run some test hands. So I think really in terms of flex spots, like depending on how you want to build, the third Grepher is, or the second Grepher rather, is a flex spot. And then I really like 2 Blizzard, and I really do think 2 Bora is good. And then I think also depending on how you build the Warrior package, Burial could actually be a flex spot, which I've said wasn't the case in the past. And then pretty much the rest of the trap lineup I think is mandatory. More or less, I mean, you could do like 1-1 split deck dev oppression. You could maybe move the Dimpriz for something else, but then you're just so low on defense. The other thing I'm testing is, again, Mindcon Raikou. I know I've had like Knock Fissure, and I'm testing Vortex in lieu of Fissure. I think it's generally better versus the light decks. It's also generally better versus the plant decks. And the one matchup where I definitely would prefer Fissure, like a Book of Moon or something, is GBs, but we're just making that concession based on how popular the decks are. The other thing I've talked about is 3 Dust. I really do like 3 Dust, but I'm testing the road, and honestly, you kind of just randomly get like free wins enough with road that it might just be like an auto include like a lot of the times, and there's a lot of Blackwings, so I don't know. I mean, I do like the versatility with Dust just because there are a lot of like really stupid decks, especially on ladder, that run like a million different floodgates, like Macro Fissure. There's like random like flip floodgate decks now. Like you'll sometimes run into like dumb shit like Gravekeepers. There's just a lot of stuff where you want 3 Dust, including the Blackwing Mirror. But Road does provide you free wins, and it allows you to play a very aggressive game plan. So yeah, I guess in terms of flex, I kind of went over the main deck, but I'd say like flexes are like Raikou, Mindcon, Vortex, Road. The rest, I don't think you can necessarily flex in or out. I think they're pretty tried and true, at least from my testing. So let's do a few test hands, and then I'll jump into ladder, and we'll just see how things go. But at least from my testing, the test hands with this deck are pretty darn good, about as good as you can get with Blackwing. So we're on solo mode. We have the right deck selected. All right, so this hand is fine. I don't think it's great. I mean, we do have like a way to start the game, or if we want to play slow, we can just set the neck row and like a mirror force. But if we just kind of like want to test back row, we can start with the Bora. We have the hand trap in hand. This hand is, I think, fine as well. Like, again, we have enough starters. We're just very thin on defense. The one thing we do have defensive-wise is the hand trap, which is nice. It's by no means like a killer hand, but it's definitely winnable. We can get pretty aggressive. This, I mean, yeah, again, any hand where you're opening like Shura plus Kalut, like, I don't think you can really complain all that much about. Like, conversely, also, if we resolve this, we can bring out a Vayu or something, and then, search for the Necro, pitch, with Greffer and send these guys and have some follow up. See what we draw with another Kalut, then you top the Dark Armed. Like, these are all like not necessarily cracked hands, but they're good. This one looks quite shit. This hand's very bad. Yeah, this hand is not shaping up well. How many hands have we done? Like 4, maybe? Probably jam the Allure. Hand's okay. Hand's okay for sure. This hand's very good. We have Dust Shoot. We have Rhoda. And we can Greffer and start recycling shit. We have Shura Whirlwind, which is always good, but let's just see what we would draw off Allure. Probably, I'd have to think about whether or not we search first or second, but especially with Burial in hand, this Greffer becomes a lot more valuable. So we might not even jam the Allure, but regardless, like even if we didn't like jam the Allure, if we get to like search something and then we can make the Allure decision later, this is already a very good hand. So what is that, like 6 test hands or something? I don't know. I haven't really been counting. This hand's pretty decent. Again, you're opening shoot plus a level 4 bird plus a hand trap plus some defense plus brain control. It's not cracked, but like this is a good enough hand to stay in the game. This hand's okay, not great so far. We really need to like top deck a Vayu, but you can start playing the game at least. This hand's fine. You have Greffer, Vayu, Pitch, Dective access, and then when they use resources, you're going to have Whirlwind, Solemn, plus you have defense. There's your Shura. That's a very, very good sequence of cards there. And you're opening the Whirlwind. So, with a hand like this, you might consider going like either searching, of course, Gale or Blizzard, depending on the game state. Let's say you get Blizzard. This is engrave, you draw a card, and then your follow-up is, this, search the Vayu. All of this most likely going through, of course, considering how good your back row is. And then, the following turn, let's say you draw another card. Now you have like Greffer follow-up, or you have Whirlwind follow-up. So let's do one more test hand, and then we'll jump into a match. This hand's fine. Like you can either lead with Shura, or you can just normal a Sirocco Raw, and if it hits grave, you can either convert it with the Arma, or, another option is like Rhoda for the Greffer pitch and send the Vayu, obviously, and then you have shoot bottomless. Nothing wrong with this hand. Then you're also drawing a Vayu, so if you held the Rhoda, that even opens up more plays to like protect it with a Necro or something. Then you have the deck dev, which is insane. Oh, I said I was only going to do one more hand. I lied. This hand's also very good. You're opening like deck dev Sirocco, or you can just like grab for a pitch. Like it really doesn't matter. The other option is like if the Sirocco hits grave and you draw a level 4 bird, you can like pitch it and then send the value. So you're basically getting blizzard food plus the Sirocco conversion. I don't know if I'd pitch Shura. I guess it depends. But like, let's say your grave like looked like this after you resolve a deck dev. Let's like maybe say you heavied or something. You could do something like this because it's technically not a -1. Like you're basically getting the plus back from the value. And then the following turn you can, let's see what you draw. It's pretty good. Like let's just say you do like this. You can either make a level 6, or if you haven't used this first, just make an armed wing. And then synchro for like a Stardust or whatever it is. I mean, these are all very hypothetical. And then like even like theoretically, like if this lived, you can ladder even further. Again, you're pitching a Gale, which is kind of insane, but you technically could do this if you have an OTK line or something. Let's just jump into some games. I think this like did a decent job of like showing what test hands can look like. There was a lot of average to slightly above average hands, one or two cracked hands, and then maybe like one or two bad hands. This is looking like another bad hand, although this is fine. Like this hand's actually way better than like an average Blackwing hand with the opening cards, because you can like do something like this, do the 2 for 2 on whatever, draw for turn, and then like your follow up. This is a +1, so you're ahead on card economy. Plus you got solemn bottomless and some birds you can start beating down with. And then like even like let's say you do that and you banish them and then you summon a armed wing. If that armed wing hits grave and you resolve the Shura, like you can ladder up into that. Like it just, you know what I'm saying. And you got the Icarus for more removal. All right, let's just jump into a game. See what happens. No more hypotheticals. The only issue I see in actually jumping into ladder right now is I'm not going to win RPS. I've never won RPS, unfortunately. I don't think it's actually ever happened, so kind of sucks. Kind of sucks. Here we go. The other issue is on Rev. I actually surprised I've played more than like 5 games. I was gonna say we might run into some like very crazy shit. Oh, we actually won an RPS. That's the first time that's ever happened. If you've been watching my channel, I've actually never won an RPS in any of my videos. Not once. Not once actually in any of my games. So this guy's like super low level, so we might run into some like janky jank. With this hand, I'm prone to just set deck dev and pass. There's like some merit to saying like pro set heavy or something, but I think just like getting the deck dev down and not overcommitting in back row is fine. And we can just normal Sirocco, maybe bait some back row. And then deck dev this dude's butt cheeks. Uh-oh. Oh, fuck. Are we gonna get just like FTK'd by a Grandmaster? Yep. That's crazy. So these are the types of matchups, I guess, that I'd like the third Dust Tornado. Definitely be nice. This deck also does run Road. Oh, they're just setting 1. Interesting. in what kind of position are we to just like jam heavy, you know? Are we going to be too far behind if we don't jam heavy? And then if we do, what's our follow-up? We can like, obviously, we're going to have to remove this with dark end. Is there another play? Although, no, we can just attack over it, right? It's only card effect. I think this board's like threatening enough where we kind of just have to use the heavy for one, which sucks. That's interesting. Does that mean he has no other back row? I also kind of want to keep the birds up because if we don't, we're not going to have Icarus follow up. So we know we're doing this. So let's just do this first. The other issue is we can't get over both. We cannot get over both. So it might actually just be the dark end play where we half attack dark end that. Because yeah, even if we half this. Oh, wait, no, yeah, I'm stupid. We can actually just get over both. What am I thinking? Duh. We can just get over both of them. I think we're just leaving the birds up. Let's leave the birds up. So we definitely want to stop the Grandmaster from coming down. Just trying to think if there's ever merit to. I think it's always just Tribute Gale, pop these two. We just have the body. The other thing we have to consider is we could normal Necro next turn and sink. So I think we actually do this. I think we do that. And that lets us get Necro Engrave plus a level 6, which may or may not matter. Because if we tribute the Gale, we just don't have a lot of decent follow-up. That's also nice. That's also quite nice. Very nice. I'm trying to think if we need to drop it right now, though. Let's just normal, see what happens. We're obviously not making a dark. We are making a. We could make a dark, because we can banish the Necro. What's the most threatening to him? I mean, I don't think Brio's all that useful, and we don't really have OTK potential here. Unless we had like a Vayu in hand or something, but we don't. Do I really worry about torrential? I don't think I worry about torrential because I don't worry about torrential because if he just lone set solemn last turn, he would have had to have hard top deck to the torrential. And I think the most threatening card is Goyo here. Although there's merit to Brio, just in case the Dark Armed gets cleared. The I guess next decision, now that we have like kind of tested for bottomless, is dropping the Dark Armed, which I think, considering he drew like most of his broken cards already, it's gonna make sense to drop Dark Armed here and just like go in and then put him on an answer like immediately. Because we can protect it with Necro, although my big concern with that is like this. We have limited follow-up. I think we banish the Gale. That's only wrong if we top deck the Blizzard. But if we top deck a Rhoda, Greffer, or Arma, we'd prefer to have the Sirocco Engrave. Okay, so he has no defense. We'll attack with this first. And just hope that does it, right? I mean, he can probably pop one of these, but just the game we're playing. Get our +1 while we can. Get 28 while we can. And also protect our Goyo in case that was like a deep Riz or something. So I think dropping the dad here was fine. I think it was fine. All right, Chachki, make a move. No, so he does have that. That sucks. But we have Necro, so. Does that resolve? No, because it negates the attack. No, it doesn't resolve. Banish. See, Necro's a pretty good card. Good card. Good card. Okay. We won that despite him opening the absolute nuts. Like, he literally got he got 3 free +1s turn 1, by the way. Like, he got 2 United, and then he also got the +1 from his Yaichi, or whatever the fuck it's called. The guy that snipes back row. That's insane. Yeah, Yaichi. So side deck wise, the Grandmaster, so yeah, I just wanted to refresh myself on like Oppression and Grandmaster because I couldn't remember if Grandmaster said if this face-up card is destroyed, but if it's destroyed at all, it just works, which is nuts. Obviously these come in. I don't even like hate Raiko, to be honest. I mean, I don't feel like I really want all that much other than Dust Tornado. Like, Cyber Dragon actually seems kind of decent. Oppression, like if it's not hitting Grandmaster, it's only hitting Road. Raiko, I think, is good enough, like, generic removal for, like, the onslaught of back row. Deck Dev seems quite weak. And if we're siding down on Deck Dev and we're bringing into Sidra, which may or may not be correct, we probably want to side down on the Dark package. So I kind of like Greffer Burial out, but we're still monster heavy, which I don't love. I do not love that. So maybe we just don't bring in the Raiko? What is Raiko realistically like doing for us? I don't think it's like especially going second, like solving any of our issues other than like sniping random back row. I think Dust Shoot actually comes out now that I think about it a little more deeply. I think we just go monster heavy actually, because there's not really anything else I think I want. These are old, but yeah, there's definitely going to be some roads happening. I don't know if they side that shit, the orb, but maybe that's another reason to bring in the Raiko. I think the thing we have to be most careful about is playing around road, and then yeah. So another respectable hand. Got the Whirlwind plus 2 summons. Just depends on how cracked he opens, which is giga cracked. So we know he doesn't have Grandmaster unless he topped it. Could very well be Road down. Could very well be Dust Tornado, but we have no other back row to bait it, so we're obviously Whirlwinding. So he's got the Dust or a Solemn. If he's thinking, it's probably Solemn. But this guy's very low level, so might not be that worth it to look into it too deep. And then if we stick something as like a standalone and Whirlwind doesn't resolve, I think the best bet is Sirocco. My issue with that is I don't want it to get banished for Arma follow-up. So I'm kind of inclined to Shura, but it's just not good into the board if we don't resolve Black Whirlwind. So I think we have to kind of take the risk here. He just open cracked twice in a row. He solemns it. Okay, so we read the solemn correctly. That makes me think this is not road. I suppose it could be if you just happen to draw both, but it also is likely not like a bottomless. It could be a battle trap, and he just wanted to stop the whirlwind search, which I think is reasonable. Nice, 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 nice. See, this is not luck, by the way. I'm telling you, it's not luck. It's like just how I built the deck. So, we could do a few things. So Arma, that gets in for 5 plus 14, which is 19. So we don't have gain that way. I think the best bet, honestly, is just slam the whirlwinds, try to resolve a search, and then hold the board in hand so that we have like a 1-card follow-up plus special summon. So we'll just see what this sure would do, you know? Okay, so we might just win here. Probably do. Now, I think the best is probably Gale. That way we can extend with multiple cards, that being the Bora. The consideration also is if it doesn't go through, how useful is Blizzard as follow-up? And I think Gale is too good because like what we can do is get a Gale and then get a Kalute, and then that way we threaten lethal with Shura. So he kind of like has to out it. And then we have 13 plus 7 plus 14, or 13 plus 17 plus 14 minus his halved twerp, whatever the fuck his name is, which puts him on 5,000 or 500. That does leave us to very limited follow-up because we're not going to have Blizzard in hand. So there is some merit to just getting greedy with the Gale and not having the Kalute, just because if we're resolving the Shura, we're gonna win anyway. So I think this is probably better, because if we don't win, Blizzard's great follow-up. If we do win, we already have lethal if it's not a battle trap. So plus this, plus like a bunch of discards for Brio, plus like value searches is nuts. You feel me? So if this gets, we're never normaling Bora next turn, so here we play into mirror really hard. So if it's mirror, we lose these two, and if it's not mirror and it's just a regular battle trap, we resolve this and we don't win. If we summon this and it's not a mirror force, we're in a much better spot. So I think we do play into mirror. Okay, it was the dim priz. So we read the battle trap correctly, and I think we made the right pulls, just because if it was a battle trap, now we have a very good position for. We are in a very good position for next turn. Now the question is whether or not we make an armor master or something. I don't think we need to, but our board is just like the Gale just might needlessly get run over, but it doesn't seem like he has shit in hand. And we do want the level 4 engrave guaranteed for Blizzard next turn. So we do make the Armor Master. And then I think it comes out in attack position. I can't remember, like, there's something that, there's like a defense position killing guy. What the fuck's this guy's name? It's got to be face down defense position, and this is just attacked at all, so we definitely bring it up in attack position. Now we have really good follow-up. I mean, Blizzard plus potentially 2 searches. And then also a bunch of discards or Arma send for a 1-card conversion. Like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, normal Blackwing hands don't get to play this way. They just don't. He's gonna tribute or not. I don't see why you wouldn't. This thing's gotta go, so you might as well just get it off the field. And we know he has very limited defense, unless, again, he top decked it this turn, and in that case, it's just 1 piece of defense. Okay. Solidarity. Oh, fuck. That's crazy, bro. So that should spell game for this guy, unless he, well, he doesn't have Solemn. I was going to say unless he Solemns are Blizzy, but we drew the Vayu, which is actually the worst draw in our deck, unfortunately. We do get to activate both Whirlwinds, even though we only have 1 target, by the way. Slick tips. So we do this to chain block a bunch of shit. And it also helps if he were to like dust one of our black whirlwinds, we still get the search anyway, because one of them's going to resolve. Ryo. And we just pitch this, and might as well just reset the counters from gateway. I mean, like, right? There's no way we lose. GG's. Let's just see what back row what was back row. Had to be top decked, so it's either fake or it's what he top decked. Oh, he drew the mirror. Yeah, that's the deck. That's the deck. Thanks for watching.